How's it going, shoppers? With Meat Week back at it, pepper shaker plans are now dropping again. So the big question is, should you invest into it? So let's go over it. First, let's go over the first benefit of owning a pepper shaker. It scales with both shotgun and heavy gunner perks, so you can use both of them to maximize the damage. This also goes the same for things like Enforcer and One Gun Army. You can also get even more armor penetration by getting that one intelligent perk that escapes my mind. It's also great with Tenderizer and a bunch of other things. Moving on to the second benefit of it, you have quite the amount of options. You can have a dual barrel, hex barrel, single barrel, or standard barrel. Essentially, the difference between it is base damage and the amount of projectiles it fire. Dual barrel is the nice middle ground to where it shoots a decent amount of projectiles while keeping the most of the damage. Hex barrels will shoot more, single barrels will do more damage, and so on and so forth. And another great thing is you can change the ammo type. So if you want a laser magazine, a plasma magazine, or standard. I prefer shotguns personally just because shotgun shells are way easier to craft. Moving into the combat size, the pepper shaker strikes at basically one thing, and that's crippling their enemies. So watch, we can shoot their legs, and just like that, they can't move. It also does quite a bit of damage just because all the projectiles that scale with your perk cards and other multipliers, as well as each projectile having the chance to cripple them. So once again, we could just shoot their feet, causing them to fall to the ground. You can aim for their head to get the extra damage. Honestly, it's up to you. Here we are at the Fissure Sight. This is honestly probably one of the best weapons to fight against Scorch Beasts just because it's so easy to cripple their wings. And the most annoying part about fighting these little buggers is they just like to fly away. So all you have to do is just cripple their wings and they won't be able to take off. As you can tell, this thing is super good at crippling. It's one of its main things. The damage is pretty alright there as well, and overall it's just a good gun to have. As you can see, the Scorch Beast is basically dead. Alright, choppers, we got done talking about all the pros, so let's go on with the cons, because every weapon has a cons and pros to using it. The main con you're going to find is it does eat up quite a bit of ammo. I started off with, I don't know, like 1,000 rounds, and I already shot through like 250. Another downside would just be its range isn't the best, so it's a very close and middle range weapon. Although it does a really great job at crippling even against faraway targets, which makes it a really good Scorch Beast Queen killer, and just crippling anything in general. You aren't going to be able to use it in VATS just because of the very low VATS accuracy and the very high AP cost. That being said, let's get into the final marks of this. And now the time you've been waiting for, shoppers. Is it worth getting the pepper shaker? And my answer is actually heck yes. It's good at one job, and the job it does amazing, and it's probably the best in slot. And what job is that? It's mostly crippling. The reason why it's so good at crippling limbs is because you get the benefits of both Enforcer as well as One Gun Army. So you're just constantly staggering crippling enemies. So it's very good to use in team fights, boss fights, or even just around solo. If you have the ammo means and basically the carry weight to carry the heavy thing, it is a perfect weapon to pick up, even if it's a non-legendary variant. What it does is its job, it cripples things. So hopefully this video helped you guys decide if you want to farm it or not. And trust me, it is super fun to have, just watching all the enemies fall to their knees. Anyway, shoppers, that's it for this video, and I hope you guys have a super duper day. And I wish you the best luck in your super duper grinding gun adventures. Yeah, woohoo!